All right. Welcome back to All Cars, y'all. I am John. It is time for another Motorweek retro review reaction. This week it is the 1997 Chevy S Series 3-door. Now, I knew when I saw this one I had to do it. I've talked a lot on the channel about how I miss those smaller compact trucks, and the nameplates like the Ranger, they've all basically gotten mid-sized, and I had to do it. I had to do it. Also, one of my viewers recommended it, pointed it out that it was here, so yes, I do listen to you. And just as a little bit behind the scenes, I tend to schedule these things out in advance so that if there's anything going on in life, there's always one coming out on a Thursday. And also, I have a rolling list of what I want to do next, typically 2, 3, or 4 of them that I'm interested in doing. This one has jumped to the top of the queue because I just think it's that important, and I've got something to say about this one. So as always, grab that beverage of choice. We've got some decaf this morning. Hey, if anybody owns a coffee company and wants to sponsor a few of these videos, please let me know, because I do that every Thursday. And sit in the comfy chair. Let's take a trip down memory lane to 1997. Oh, this is a 3-minute and 32 second one. So I think they're going to go pretty quick, so I'm going to have to too.
Motorweek is made possible by Auto Value and Bumper to Bumper and TireRack.com.
While full-size pickup trucks from the Big Three continue to be hot sellers in all configurations, compact pickups have lagged behind. Hoping to reverse that trend, GM decided to give its new designed S-Series pickups a feature previously found only on big trucks. So who said that three's a crowd?
Okay, because I don't know how much I'm going to see here because they are going to move pretty quickly. I have a confession. When this car was new, I hated it. It was like that generation of the F-150 where they went with the more aerodynamic styling. I really did not like the look of this truck up at the front end, and I didn't like the blazer that it was associated with either. Then that sloped nose, it all just looked narrow and weak, and just, I don't know. I didn't like it. I liked the Ranger better, except I hated the Ranger's interior. However, my confession is, I think this is arguably the best looking truck of that era. I'm not saying it's better than the Toyota, and I really am a fan of the Nissans, but looking back, I think this style has aged incredibly well, and with a couple of tweaks here and there, I think this would be fully contemporary today.
Especially when it means 3 doors. Yes, the hottest new feature in full-size pickups is also available in a compact model, but only on extended cab versions of this Chevy S-Series and GMC Sonoma, giving GM a big jump on compact pickup rivals. While big trucks have the extra door on the right side for passenger loading, on GM's compacts, it's on the driver's side for easy access to the extended cab 17.3 cubic foot rear bay. There is also added space for small items in the large storage pocket. The third door also makes pickups accessible to wheelchair-bound drivers for the first time. But it does cost...
Okay, before they move on there, you know what? I remember this was such a revelation when they started to come out with those third clamshell doors, the suicide doors. And, Saturn SC series ended up adding them. They put them on the extended cab bigger trucks, and then they finally filtered their way down to the small ones. And once you saw one, you always wondered, why didn't they have 2? Now, of course, that's where they ended up going to. I like that they put it on the driver's side here. I think that makes a lot more sense, because if you are the driver and you're carrying stuff, you want to put it in, not walk around after you put it in on the passenger side. So this made a lot of sense. And to have that extended cab with 17 cubic feet behind it, that's like a good sized trunk, honestly. And that's how you just stack it up, right? That's how this all worked. It's a very, very smart design. It looks like they're about to show the jump seats here. All those were, even as a kid, I'm like, are these things safe? But it was smart. And it was good of GM and Chevy, and with their GMC, the Sonoma, to add this door. Wish they had it on the other side, but you take away that portion of the door, and you've got to strengthen the frame around it to actually support the truck. And I think that was what really held things back here. And I've heard from many, many people, and you can go back and look at some of the crash testing. I won't say the specific model, but, you know, the smaller compact trucks back in the day weren't the safest things in the world. So I'm not sure they had the rigidity in the passenger structure to add a bunch of extra openings like this without pretty substantial reinforcement.
Owners the use of one of these compact jump seats, which was deleted for safety reasons. And speaking of safety, watch your fingers, kids. The latch release is in the door jamb. The rest of the vehicle's interior is the same roomy, well laid out single airbag cockpit that we praised so highly in its 1994 debut. Of course, the most room.
But okay, so of course they sped through that and didn't show a bunch of other stuff. I'm going to go back a little bit here and a little bit more. The interior taketh and the interior giveth. All right. On the one hand, overall design, I kind of like this better than, say, the Ranger. I think that ergonomics were a little bit better. Cheap. It really always drove me up the wall how cheap everything was. And particularly when you look at the center area right here, the fact that it looks like they molded a dash with a hole and then just stuck something onto it. But solid, well laid out, open, airy, ergonomically fine interior. My biggest complaint, and you've heard it before if you've been on the channel, is these big gray knobs, just like they would use in Pontiacs. I'm sure they work well with gloves when you're using your truck for working. They're easy to grab, but those gray knobs for the HVAC and for the radio look unbelievably cheap to me. Drives me up the wall. Other than that, I like this interior again, and I think I like it more looking back than I did at the time. But there's nothing wrong with this interior for the time period.
Of course, the most room is outside. Our test truck's 6-foot sports side box easily handling day-to-day hauling duties. Hauling power came in the form of GM's LF6 4.3-liter Vortec V6. In our 4-wheel drive test machine, it made 180 horsepower and 240 pound-feet of torque. And with the help of...
Okay, before they move on, because we're rushing through this, I have no problem with this engine. I'm sure those of you who are more of a mechanic's mind and know more might either say it was a great engine or it was horrible. There doesn't ever seem to be a middle ground on engines. But I have no particular issue with it. I always thought, well, it was torquey. I always thought it was really torquey, and I thought it sounded okay. That's my vague recollection, is like, yeah, it sounds okay. So I don't really have a strong feeling like it's the best engine and I want one so bad I can't stand it, but on the other hand, it's fine. I don't have a problem with it, and the numbers, I think the numbers are pretty good.
But the optional upgraded 4-speed automatic transmission romped to a 0 to 60 time of 9.7 seconds. The quarter mile took 17.3 seconds at 79 miles per hour. Handling proved to be as competent as always, with the front torsion bars and rear leaf springs providing a stable, sure-footed feel. But braking...
So I think I know what's coming based on the clip at the beginning there. Nothing wrong with those numbers. We've seen a lot of cars here that are not breaking the 10-second barrier. So nothing wrong with those numbers at all. And it looked nice and neat and tidy going through the slalom. Very, very controlled. I'm pretty impressed.
Provided something of a shock. After 3 test runs averaging a poor 150 feet, our truck's 4-wheel anti-lock brake system suddenly ceased to function, giving test driver Craig Singhas and videographer Pat Stolionis a few anxious moments. The problem did not reoccur.
Wow! I don't know where to start on that. So when I do these and I'm looking at the brakes, there's 2 things I look at. Number 1 is what kind of number are we looking at? And for a long time now, well over a year of doing these, 115 is kind of a magic number. If you're within relatively close to 115, you're stopping pretty competently. 150 is really, really bad. The fact that you have a new truck that the ABS just suddenly stopped working on, and when the ABS doesn't work, it goes into a slide and plows through the cones. I've never seen one of these retro reviews with a worse example. Wow, that was unbelievable.
The test track, however, and after a quick check at the dealer, the rest of its 2-week stay was uneventful, which pleased us since we hate returning such a versatile, stylish little pickup until we have to. And since none of us have a spare $19,015 for a new truck right now, that's the minimum that a 4-wheel drive sports side like our test vehicle will set you back. Add our vehicle's healthy list of options, and the final tally is $24,212. The addition of a third door to GM's formidable line of compact pickups is welcome, and it's sure to make this segment more appealing to both business and personal use truck buyers alike.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. The price. 97, I admit that. That 19,000 sounded just a touch high to me. I was a little surprised that was the base, and then 24 for it loaded like this. I don't know. I don't know what contemporaries were priced at, but that just kind of struck me as a little pricey. But isn't it interesting? Without taking into account inflation over the past 27 years, 24,000 for this back in 97, or 25,000 for a Maverick now. Interesting. And I have to say, back in the day, I liked these style sides. I liked it on the Ranger, certainly the Baywatch look to a truck, and I think it looks pretty good here on the Chevy as well. I think it kind of breaks up the side profile. Today, I would not want one. I want the extra little bit of width right there in my bed, but I like the style of this truck, and like I said at the beginning, I didn't like it when it was new. I really thought the nose was weak, and I still see where I was coming from, right? They went down to a single narrow grill, and it means the hood had to slope like this, almost, well, I hate to say it, almost like what the Ranger ended up doing, where you jump the grill up just a little bit so the hood can come up to it. Give it a little bit more of a muscular look to it. But again, looking back, I like this truck a lot. I think it looks fantastic. I think the interior is perfectly fine in spite of a couple of things I don't love about it. The performance was fine. The price was okay. And I'm going to give it a pass on the brake results because the ABS failed and then they fixed it. So good truck. And this is a lot of, this is kind of the end of when I think about compact trucks before they kind of went away and came back bigger. I would love to have something like this. Honestly, I would love to have something kind of in that size and that usability, and with a pretty powerful engine. I like this truck, guys. So if you had one or you've got an opinion, let me know below, but I appreciate you being here.